Good morning and welcome to the craft room. I'm Ellie Barnes. I'm here today to bring you day 2 of our 12 days of Christmas. And today we're going to look at another chocolate and how we can make that into a nice gift that someone will appreciate. So let's get straight down to the desk and have a look at what we're doing today. Oh, before I do, I'll just make sure we're going live in the right place, because nothing worse than going live in the wrong place. Now, there we go, we've got the comments up. So if you're watching and wish to make a comment, feel free to do so. But in the meantime, let's get down to the desk and let's jump straight into this. If I can get it to switch, there we go. Okay, so let's get things happening. We're going to look at this block of chocolate here. Just a simple block, it could be any block, but I've just bought the basic chocolate and I'm going to make a box to go around it. So I'm going to use this paper. Now this is out of the, I can't even remember what that's called. Let me grab the name of it. It's called Elegant Pine Snowflakes. So you can see the pine has been established or printed in snowflake images. But it's still a pretty piece of paper. I don't do snowflakes and winter Christmas items being here in Australia, but this paper I thought was still very pretty. So I'm going to use this sheet. Now I need to use, let me get my measurements. I have got them written down and I should write them down for you, shouldn't I? Well, let's write them down as we go. Where is my pen? Here it is. So I need a piece that's 22 centimetres. Oh, we might use the other end. Get rid of that. 22 centimetres by 26 centimetres. So we'll start with that. Let's get this out here. So here we go, 22 centimetres long by 26 centimetres. So that's the size we need. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to score. We'll write this down so we have it. We're going to score 1.5 centimetres on each side. Okay, so 1.5 centimetres. Now that's on the long side. We might put long side. So let's do that. 1.5. So get the cutting blade out of the road. 1.5 centimetres. Now that's the height of the chocolate. So then on the long side, or on the short, when it's the short way, we're going to score, wrong end again, Ellie. Score. We're going to score at 7 centimetres. 8.5 centimetres, that gives us our 1.5 gap. 17.5 centimetres and 19 centimetres. So let's do that. So we're scoring at 7 centimetres, 8.5 centimetres, then I said 17.5, and 19 centimetres. So that's got the shape of our box ready. So let's do all the folds and have a look what we've got. 7, 8.5, 17.5, and 19, and 1.5 down each side. So if we look at our box, it folds like so. So we need to do a bit of cutting and gluing to get that right. I'm going to make it, it's going to be a bit like an envelope box. So I'm going to cut off, I'm cutting, there's the score line for the first score, so that's 7 centimetres. This is at 8.5, and I'm going to cut all the way down on that score line. And I'm hopefully going to cut it straight. And I'm going to do the same on this side. Now down here, so I can fold the box over, or make it into a box, I'm just cutting those tabs so that they're like so. So if you're following along at home and trying to work out what I'm doing, I've cut from the tab and the sides off the top, and I've cut the tabs here so we can make our box. And we're just going to put a bit of glue first of all on our 2 tabs. And we're going to fold them up like so. Now that one's there, that one's there. And I just hold it for a second. I want the tabs. Now, one of the things to keep note is when it folds up, you want this to be a straight line so that the gap or the corner is nice and neat. And that's what we've done. Now, we could fold it that way, but it looks a bit messy, so I'm going to fold it with these on the outside. So it's going to look like an envelope. So I'll just turn that over and we'll put some glue on this tab. So this is actually an envelope basically. While that's taking off, I'm just going to hold it. Stay. Got to talk to my projects so they do what I want. And we're going to do the same. Bit of glue on this tab and fold it up. So this is basically an envelope that is 1.5 centimetres wide, if you think about it. And then it folds over. Now, I could do other things, but I'm going to leave it as that. That's it. That's my box. I will decorate it, of course. But it fits our block of chocolate in nicely. Just got to tuck. I find if I tuck them underneath, it's better. And fold it in. And there's our box with our chocolate inside. But we need to have it so it closes and we need to decorate it. So let's think about that. Now, I could go with traditional red and green. If you look, we've got the red in the centre here. If I hold it up closer, you'll see. We've got the red here and we've got the old olive and the shaded spruce. And that looks like it might even be mossy meadow in there. And we've also got here Pretty Peacock, and we've got Pecan Pie. And I was thinking, and even in here with the Pretty Peacock, we have Secret Sea. So I was thinking about it and thinking, do I do traditional, the red and green, like we did yesterday, or shall I do something different? And I decided we will do something different. So let's work out how we're going to close our box and what we're going to put on it. First thing I want to do is I want to put on a front piece. So I'm going to get my ruler. Now this is how I work these things out. Oh, here, I'll use my little metal one because it doesn't take up as much space. This is 9 centimetres wide, so I need to know that I'm going to be under 9 centimetres. So I think I'll cut this Pretty Peacock at 8.5 centimetres, and I think I will cut it. I want to do something with the white piece, so let's bring this in. I want to emboss the white piece. So let's see how long this picture is in here, the embossing folder. It's 12.5 centimetres. So I think if I make this 12 centimetres by 8.5 centimetres, that might work on the front of the box. So let's have a look what we've got. I'll make it 12, did I say 12.5 centimetres by 8.5 centimetres. And this is how I work things out. I just measure and have a look. And so I will cut this one at 8 centimetres and 12 centimetres. So that and that will fit on the front here. Now if I take the embossing folder and I'll place it in the embossing folder, let's see how this fits. Oh, it is smaller than the image, which is fine, but I can get it on the image all the way around. So we'll pop that in, and I think I don't know if you can see that, but you will see as I pop it through the cut and emboss machine. So we'll bring that in. And I'll pop this through. And I'm just using the base plate, plate 1, and plate 4, the cutting plate. Or not the cutting plate, the embossing plate, I mean. So let's see how that looks. I think that's going to be nice. What do you think? It's a bit white, so I'll bring in my... We've got too much stuff here on the side, haven't we? I'm building up. I'm building up with all the stuff. I'll write this down too. The base, deco, they're the decos. The base is 12.5 centimetres by 8.5 centimetres, and the top is 12 centimetres by 8 centimetres. So there's the measurements there. And I'm just going to, this is the beauty about these glass plates, is you can rub the excess off on the plate so you don't have to waste a piece of paper. And that's just given that a nice bit of colour. Let's have a look. So if we put that on there and on top of our chocolate, what do you think? I think that's working. Good morning, Liz. I'm glad you're joining me today. We're covering a block of chocolate. I did, if you didn't see the start, so just a good old-fashioned Cadbury's chocolate. So that's cleaned up that. But now I have to put something in the middle. What I'll do though, while that's drying, we'll glue these two together. This is another good little gift for friends or for teachers. I mean, a block of chocolate, you get lots of good chocolate in it, and we don't recognise how good a block of chocolate is. Now, I'm just going to cover that with, I do this when I'm, particularly with my embossed paper, so it sits flat. But I need to, I'll bring the embossing folder back in. I need to put something in the centre here. So with this set, this is the Peace on Earth set. I'm not using the words today, but I will use these two pieces here, which fit perfectly in that frame, and you'll see as I layer them up. So let's grab those out. And I'm going to do the base in Secret C, but not straight Secret C. This gorgeous, gorgeous, what do you call it? Glimmer paper. Now I'll need that to go there. So I will cut it about there. That's how I work things out. That's where it's going to fit. That's what I'm going to cut. So I'm going to cut that. We'll just shut this for a minute. And I need a white piece. So I'll just cut this piece out of here. And while I'm cutting, I think I will decorate with this set. Now again, I will use one stamp. I'm going to use this little stamp here, but I'm going to mainly use, I could have used these frames, but I wanted to use the embossing folder. So I'm going to use this one and this one. So we'll pop them aside, and actually, can I fit this one on here? Because that's what I want to do. Will you fit there with that there? Oh, yes. Clever. That will fit there. And for this, I'm going to want, I only want a little tiny bit. I just want to do a couple of pine cones. So I'll just cut that piece like so. So we've got some of the things I'm going to use to decorate. Let's get the cut and emboss machine back in. That's now glued. And we'll cut all this out at once. So we're going to start with plate 1, our base plate. We need our next plate up, which is plate 2. We need our cutting base, plate 3. And we're going to pop our things on. So we'll start with this one. We'll put this one here. And we're going to pop this one at the bottom. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Oh, we're going to take all these off for a minute. Push our pine cone out, and then I'm going to cut another pine cone. Now, we don't have to go all the way through for this. We'll just do this. Right. Pop this aside. Thanks, Liz. I've been doing this for a while and creating gifts for a while for teachers and things, and I just love giving little things. I mean, we don't have to give, I can't afford to give big things. None of us can. But by giving the little things, we can, let's get rid of these, we can make someone's day, particularly around Christmas. You have to be a bit gentle with this paper, getting it off, this glimmer paper, because it is thicker. Sometimes, if it's really intricate, I will run them through twice, but this has worked. I'll just poke the holes out, poke the bits out. Right. So, we now have, this piece is going to fit here, and this piece is going to fit here. But I need to make a Christmas greeting on it. And I also want it just, it's a bit stark white. So let's bring in our pecan pie, and a pretty peacock we're using. And I'm going to stamp off. Now, have I got a piece of scrap somewhere? Maybe out of the bin? I have. Often use scrap out of the bin for this bit. Now, all I'm going to do is stamp off. Actually, I think I might... Oh, no, I can do this. No, I'm going to do the embossing first, I think. I think I need to do the embossing first, because I'm a bit concerned I won't leave myself the right space. I'm going to emboss Merry Christmas. And I'm using the traditional labels, Christmas set. I'm using the word Christmas, and I'm using the word Merry. So let's get these over and start with that first. Get all my embossing tools ready. My embossing buddy. And the ink. So don't forget to use your embossing buddy. I did a few times recently in my rush and ended up having to redo it again because I had bits of embossing powder sticking to where I didn't want it. So we're just going to put Christmas here. And Merry on top. And when I put the embossing powder on, we'll see if I've done a good job. Can't see what I'm doing very well, but we'll see it once we get this on. So we're using gold embossing powder again, like yesterday. There's a little bit there, we'll just wipe off. And that looks pretty good. I think I'm happy with that. We'll give this a blast. I can do it from underneath and you can watch it change. Now when you are embossing, to reduce the amount of curl, if you heat both sides, You can see because I'm heating mainly from underneath, it's wanting to curl up. If I heat from the top, it'll curl down. But if you heat both sides, and you can see here it's changing. Getting a bit hot on my fingers. I've got to change ends. This end didn't get much heat. Here it comes. And there, we're done. So by heating both underneath and above, and then I try to flatten it fairly quickly, it doesn't curl as much. It's got a slight curl in it, but it's not much. So now, while that's just cooling down and setting for a minute, my clean up for this, as I said, I use a piece of paper inside here, fold it and pour it in. And it's much quicker than trying to clean it out of the tray. But the tray holds everything together, and then I can put my Versa mark stamp pad in and my embossing buddy, and I'm ready for next time. Now we'll come back to our stamping. So what I'm going to do is I want this quite light, so I'm stamping off once on there, and then I'm going to stamp on here once and then slightly offset it to give it a bit more dimension, so it's got two stamps on top of each other. And I'm going to do that a few times because I want to get quite a bit of this pine look. Reminds you of pine trees. Now, I want to balance it out a bit, so I'm going to do some down here and maybe down here. So that's the pine I've done, but we can throw that out. That's my scrap out of the bin. I'm also going to bring in my blender brush, and I'm going around the whole of the label. Oh gosh, I've gone blank, didn't I? Sorry, there's noise happening outside, and I was just thinking, I hope they don't get too noisy. Now, pushing it on from the edge, this is also making a darker edge for me, which I quite like the look of with what I'm doing here. I want it to be a bit darker on the edge up there. And then we'll cover. So this is going all the way over where I've stamped. And that's looking good. So we'll just clean this up for a sec where all the ink was. And we'll bring our label back in. So now we've got our pieces together, pieces done. It's just a matter of sticking them together. Now, I like to use dimensionals, and I did grab my dimensionals somewhere. When you put everything out and then you cover it all up again. Here it is. So, I'm going to, because I want this to really stand up, do it so you can see. Do it on camera, Ellie. I'm just putting quite a few dimensionals on this. I'm going to do 7. On this glimmer. This is the glimmer Secret C, because I don't want it sagging, and it will be handled quite a bit. Come on. So let's pop this on. And then on top of that, I'm going to put this one with dimensionals. Probably use 7 again because of the shape of it, and I want it to stand up. Pop this one off. And we'll just pop this one nicely in here. Now my head's not over the top, so I'm having trouble seeing if it's even, but that looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to glue this piece on here. And then I'll glue some pine cones on. So we just need a bit of glue on this bit. Now again, you could have used adhesive backing on this. I haven't. And then my little pine cones. Just a dot of glue on there. I'm going to put one up here. Stay. And one down here. Now, because that's all a bit messy, put that on there for a minute. And I'm going to add some bling. Now this is the faceted snowflakes, and it comes in the real red, shaded spruce and white. Now this goes with the paper. I'm not going to use red and white. I'm actually going to use the shaded spruce. Now you might look at it and go, oh, but that's a different colour. It seems to blend really nicely in with this. And I think I'll pop one over here. And I'm going to pop one. There's two different sizes, so they're the two big ones. And we'll pop a little one up here. And it just blends. You couldn't, it really can't tell that they're not exactly the right colour. So that works quite well. Now that's ready to go on to the front of our chocolate, like so. But that's still not going to close the box, so I need to get some ribbon. And I'm using this beautiful ribbon. Now this is called the gold striped, where's the mesh ribbon. And if I hold it up on the back of the dimensionals, it's beautiful. Really, really beautiful. So I need to have, I need about 60 centimetres, I would say. I just use my board to measure. It has a, down the bottom here where you can't see, I don't think you can see it, it has a ruler. And I do have my ribbon scissors that has their tag on it. And I'm going to not glue it on the back, I'm going to glue it on the front. So I want to do the bow, that's about the bottom. I want to measure it so it's about right, same length on this side. Now, it's got to go under here. I could do it in the middle, but I'm just going to be a little bit arty and put it to one side. You're still not stuck. So let's put something on top of you and let you dry. It's because it's sticking onto glimmer paper as well. I'm going to put a little bit of tear and tape, not a lot, because I don't want it to show from under the label. There. And then I'm just going to tie this in a bow at the top here. Now, my label will fit here. So we get the glue. And you've seen me do this before. I only put the glue on the top half just to glue the bottom bit. Like so. And again, I'll hold it for a minute. Take up. So they get their lovely little chocolate box. Let's have a look at it. Get everything out of the road. They get their chocolate box. They can undo their ribbon. Open their box, and there's their block of chocolate. Now you could just wrap it in a piece of paper, couldn't you? But this is just a little bit more fancy and something special that they can keep. And then we'll just do that back up again. And I love these colours. Well, they're my, I was going to say they're my favourite. One of my favourite colours with Stampin' Up. I'll push that a bit tight so it's down a bit far. There we go. One of my favourite colours is the Pretty Peacock. And it really works well. It's bringing in these colours here, the Pretty Peacock and the Secret Sea, which is a little bit different. But I liked it, the fact that it is a little bit different. So, that's my day 2 complete. Let's see if we can come back. Yes, we can. Hope you enjoyed that. We've completed the first 2 days and their little gifts. Tomorrow we're going to do a little gift, but it's also something that, well, it's a gift that the kids would enjoy. But big kids can enjoy it too. So join me tomorrow and I will show you another little gift that doesn't involve chocolate. In fact, you create all of it yourself. All right, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Enjoy the sunshine. It's going to be a beautiful warm day. I know we'll be doing lots. I can tell you Bailey's getting his second bath and a hair and a good trim. Gee, that'll be a test of my skills. And other than that, we're just going to have an enjoyable family day together in the sunshine. Hope you get to enjoy your day too and keep crafting, and I will see you at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Bye-bye.